you back?
All right.
All right.
We're back.
Nice. Well, you sent me some great AI videos. Sorry, songs for the
Yeah,
show.
I had a fun discovery this weekend. We've kind of joked around on the podcast before about having an intro song, and I
Yep.
came across a great website / app where you can create your own music.
What's it called?
It's called Suno, Suno.
Suno. And this is not a commercial.
No, it is not.
No.
They should be paying us though, because I'm making some bangers over here.
Hey, maybe they have an affiliate program. We'll check it out. But now this song that you sent me goes perfect with the background.
Right.
So we are premiering it here today.
And again, I just want to stress this was a done in 2 minutes. It has a typo in there. You'll hear it, and it's unfinished. It was just a practice that kind of turned out well.
All right, here, let's take a listen.
It's the Uncovering Anomalies podcast where the truth is told but never seems to last. For the truth changes day by day, so you have to find it. That's the only way. It's the UAP podcast with Adam and Topher. So don't let it pause and don't let it buffer. We're bringing you stories about conspiracies. We can't break the locks, but we can give you the keys. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, is that a black van? Oh God, I think they found us. Is that a man? He's dressed in all black and claims that he is human. But now we've disappeared and might be burning. Tune in anyway and we'll let you know about the anomalies we've uncovered and so and so. It's the
That's so sick. So sick. I love it. I love it.
It was so much fun. I also sent Adam a 1950s pop version where I didn't create any lyrics. You just put in a prompt and the style of music you want. And I was listening to that earlier, and I think that turned out really well, but it doesn't fit our current aesthetic. But yeah,
hilarious.
I'm going to be tinkering around with that. And
so, did you say to put because in the it raps? Did you tell it to do that, or it did that?
No, it did that. I mean, I seriously I said dance electronic style, and then I wrote those, whatever it was, 8 lines of lyrics, and it generated the whole thing. I mean, it's incredible what AI can do nowadays.
Yeah, that part about the black band is perfect.
I thought that, I was, like I said, it was
the way it's like sung too.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because like the way it's sung makes it actually sound like real lyrics instead of just me typing something in 2 minutes into the input. It's super cool stuff.
So amazing. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a new one every week, and then maybe out of a bunch we choose one, or maybe the audience choose one.
We'll start testing theme songs for the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. This is episode, what are we on now? 94?
94, yeah.
94, man, that's been weird going strong here.
I know. We're gonna have to probably skip 2 weekends so we can hit that 100 at New Year's.
Okay. We'll have to figure that out because I will be. It actually might work out perfectly because I'm traveling the second half of December.
That's
so
right.
Okay, perfectly, and I get back right before New Year's.
Nice. All right. Sounds like a plan then.
Yeah. Well, everyone, we want to thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 94 of the Uncovering Anomalies podcast. It is Sunday, October 20th, and joining me, as always, is our fearless leader. I have a need to know, Adam.
Hey, everybody. It's 3:25 on a Sunday.
That's right. Great time. Recording a little bit earlier than usual.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
And I am today's special, the Topher, only $4.99.
What does it taste like?
I like to think it's like a pesto chicken with some garlic and onions.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
on flatbread with a chipotle sauce. Why not?
Wow, very nice, very nice. Well, you know what we're doing today, right?
I was thinking about it, and I honestly cannot remember. What are we doing today? Tell me.
I hope I'm saying it right. It's the Pascagoula UFO abduction incident.
Okay.
I think that's in Missouri. So when the Allagash UFO, when I first heard of Allagash, that's why I thought this one it was referring to this one.
Okay.
So it's kind of similar, less people, but I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a famous one. Those two guys that go fishing.
As you know, it's a very common theme, weirdly enough. Well, I guess,
Yeah.
any kind of isolated activity is going to get you abducted by aliens. That seems more likely. It's not like going to a NASCAR race leads to a lot of,
No,
alien abductions.
you're by yourself. You're in water. You're like, oh, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, you're minding your own
Um,
business. So of course,
yeah.
why not get abducted?
Oh, hey, they're taking fish out of the water. Why don't we do the same thing to them?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Do you recognize these guys?
I do. Yep. I'll
Yeah.
never forget those sideburns anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. He's still around. I think he's not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, just judging on ages, I would guess that's the case.
So we can go through a couple articles in this videos we can watch as well.
Fantastic. Let me read the title of the article first. Pascagoula Abduction, the UFO sighting that changed the lives of two fishermen entirely.
Oh,
On October 11th, 1973, in Pascagoula, Mississippi, one of the most terrifying and incredible cases of UFO sighting and alien abduction occurred. The incident is also known as the Pascagoula Abduction.
What a name. Okay, yeah, so it's Mississippi, not Missouri.
Yeah, I almost said Missouri too, but it is Mississippi.
Yeah.
On the evening of the very same day, the two men, Calvin Parker, who was 19, and Charles Hickson, 42 years old, being fishermen, decided to sit on their most resourceful fishing spot that was located nearby an old shipyard. As soon as Jackson caught a catfish, they both heard a sudden and weird zipping sound that emerged from behind the shipyard, and immediately they felt the landing in a clearing that was about 35 yards behind them.
See what am I telling you, man? It's because they caught that catfish.
Isn't when you go catfish fishing, aren't you supposed to you noodle them? You put your
With a
hand
net or something?
No. You stick your hand in the water and they bite, not bite, but they swallow you up to your elbow, and then you
I
pull them out
didn't
of the
know
water like
that.
that.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Catfish are I don't like them. I don't like the
Oh.
taste, and I don't like how they look.
Well, they are bottom feeders.
Yeah,
right?
they're just I've said this on the show many times. I'm not a big seafood person anyway. I understand catfish are not found. I don't think they're found in the ocean, but it's the same brand.
What about fish and chips? You like that? That dish?
Not particularly.
Really?
I mean, I like the fish is so battered and fried that it barely resembles fish, but it's not really my go-to.
Okay.
Anyway, upon turning around, to their surprise, they spotted a 30-foot long football-shaped object with two portholes.
Of course.
Suddenly, the door of the object opened, and a bright white light emerged from it. Within a couple seconds, 3 5-foot-tall figures moved out smoothly from the craft and approached the two scared fishermen.
Dude, imagine seeing that.
There's something odd though about all these abduction cases, or not UFO but actual alien sightings, always about how they move smoothly, or just in a robotic but smooth fashion. It's kind of a bizarre, they're very I don't know how to describe
fluid, or like they're not
fluid.
from this realm or something, right?
Yeah.
Where they move really strangely. It just doesn't fit with how things evolve here.
Right.
So I guess that's why it's alien.
So you want to look at that picture really quick? That's what's his name? Haxon.
So Charles Haxon is on the left, and Calvin Parker Jr. he's on the right here.
So 42 and 19, they're not related.
They're not really. Yeah, I thought that was weird. Yeah,
it's a very interesting.
I think they work together.
Is that what it was? Could be.
Interesting. All right, let's continue. Let's hold that thought.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, it's easy to look at that and go, "Oh, there's something weird going on there." But
right,
it's okay for people of different ages to have friendships.
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. We always jump to the the worst thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've been conditioned to. Do you want to continue from here?
So it became evidently clear at the very moment they arrived that these mysterious figures were not humans. The enigmatic entities were gray in color with wrinkled bodies and had claw-like hands. The head appeared to be directly attached to the shoulders, and the neck was absent, and something resembling a nose came out to a point about 2 inches long. On each side of the head about where ears would be, was something similar to the nose. Directly under the nose was a slit resembling a mouth. The arms were quite similar to the human arms, however, proportionately longer to the body. The hands resembled a mitten, and there was a thumb attached. Strange. The legs remained together, and the feet looked something like elephants' feet. Quote, this is by Charles Hickson. If they had a more human likeness, it would not have shocked me so. The entire body was wrinkled and had a grayish color. There could have been eyes, but the area above the nose was so wrinkled I couldn't tell.
Very weird. And this
What
is
the
a
hell?
pretty, I know, this is a pretty unique description of the grays. First of all, at 5 feet tall, they're taller than what people typically see with the grays. But I mean, usually grays, they either are lacking a nose or it's very small. This one had something that resembled a nose, but it also had two things sticking out the side of his head. That's such a creepy photo.
Really creepy. That's what he said. He goes, if they didn't look like that, we wouldn't have been so shocked.
And he mentioned how wrinkly they were. And again, that's not something that's brought up when people describe the aliens that they see. And elephant feet too, that's a new one.
Yeah, elephant feet, and it's so wrinkly like elephants. And then the claw hands. I mean, I guess that's come up before, claw hands, I think.
And that's his shield over on the right. He's got a sword, I think, on his back.
That's hilarious. It does look like a shield. And back in the day, they were called flying shields, weren't they? Like 18, I think, or 1600s or something. Where's that from?
It could have been when people like have dug up ancient Roman texts describing UFOs. I mean, a flying shield would kind of like make sense for the time.
Yeah, something like that. God, look at that. And then
so creepy.
So these are obviously not the creatures that create these craft. These people work for the people that create the craft. I mean, how can you build anything with with those hands? I mean,
well, I don't know how you can say obviously, but
okay, fine.
It's a good theory. I mean,
it's apparent.
It's a very very bizarre appearance. I think this would scare me far more than seeing a standard gray would.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean. He couldn't see the eyes even.
Have you seen the movie Arrival?
Yes. Okay. Oh yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones actually.
They don't look anything like humanoids, but they're wrinkly, right?
No. Yeah, yes, they are wrinkly. They were like octopus, right?
Right, in a way. Like giant squids. That's kind of in a weird way that kind of reminds me of this.
So a bluish gray flying saucer landed in the clearing, and 3 5-foot aliens took them aboard the craft and gave them a strange physical examination.
There's a lot of stuff left out of this article. So let's say you and I don't know if you fish. I don't think you do.
I mean, I fished, but it's not something I do all the time. Yeah.
I don't either. Let's say we're out in Mississippi. Let's say Montana, because that's someplace we've both been.
All right. Yeah,
and we're fishing, and
I've been fly fishing there.
Yeah. Very cool. So we're fly fishing up in Montana, and we hear a strange zipping noise, and a craft lands behind us, and a creature that looks like that. A couple of them step out. Are you just like, oh hey, sure, you can physically examine us?
No, hell no, no way.
I'd be scared out of my mind.
I'd be grabbing for whatever I have.
Yeah, I'd be hitting him with a fishing rod.
Yeah, he's not coming near me.
No. Get your weird nose ears out of my face, man.
I think
they stop stepping on me with your elephant feet.
So bizarre, and they were stuck together. The legs, right? Where is it? The proportional and the resemblance mitten. The legs remained together, and the feet looked something like elephant's feet.
So okay, this is another thing that I think is missing here: is they walk out of the ship, but their feet stay together.
Yeah, I guess that's why they're gliding, because a lot of these things they say glide, right?
Yeah. Actually, Betty Andreessen said the same thing.
Yeah, maybe they're.
She said they looked like they were on skis.
So bizarre. So bizarre. I mean, the only way to like experience this stuff is to always be out doing stuff, and then maybe hope for it.
Well, all right, here we go. Both Calvin and Charles had the impression that the strange entities were robots. Calvin was so scared that he fainted, and one of the 3 figures grabbed Calvin, whereas the other 2 got a hold of Charles. The moment he was grabbed by the strange creatures, he felt himself getting paralyzed. Okay, that answers my question about something was missing. The strange creatures took them both back into the craft. Though Hickson is dead now, during an interview back in 1973, he attempted to explain what had happened to them and what he saw, including when he was taken into the craft. He said, and they glided me into that thing. You know, how you just got, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, no, he did say glided. And they glided me into that thing. You know, how you just guide somebody. All of us moved like we were floating through the air. When I got there, they had me, you know, they just kind of had me there. There were no seats, no chain. They just moved me around. I couldn't resist them. I just floated, felt no sensation, no pain. They kept me in that position a little while, then they'd raise me back up. I mean, this is, you know, alien abduction 101.
No seats.
Hickson also tried to describe a machine that was supposedly used for certain medical experiments. No, it wasn't like an X-ray machine. There was no way to describe it. It looked like an eye, like a big eye. Oh God. It had some kind of an attachment to it. It moved. It looked like a big eye, and it went all over my body, up and down. And then they left me.
What? I mean, yeah, that's, you know, it just seems so alien, right? I mean, or even like the movie Alien. Yeah.
Hickson answered numerous questions regarding the appearance of the aliens. He further stated that he could not recall if they had eyes or when they did leave the craft, as he was extremely frightened. The only thing I remember is that kid Calvin just standing there. I've never seen that sort of fear on a man's face as I saw on Calvin's. It took me a while to get him back to his senses, and the first thing I told him was, "Son, ain't nobody gonna believe this. Let's just keep this whole thing to ourselves." Well, the more I thought about it, the more I thought I had to let some officials know. There's a very common thing that happens with alien abductions and people who report seeing grays or reptilians or whatever the insects are called. Is there's this
the
mantises? There's this fear that hits you, and it's a fear that it literally, not literally, it grabs at your spine, and you cannot move. You are frozen in place because of how scared you are. That's very, very commonly reported among abductees.
I mean, I could just imagine just staring into the eyes of
dude, and seeing that thing, that wrinkly nose-eared thing coming at you with elephant feet.
So
bizarre. Yeah, I'd be yeah, look at that. If that thing was,
it looks like a mummy. Yeah, it's like wow. And coming out of this thing.
Yeah, it's its own shield. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean that.
And the two portholes, so they each have one. That's like cartoonish.
Yeah, so bizarre.
Yeah, it is. Where were we? I think here.
Right there. Yeah. Charles Hickson had been part of the Korean War and was well aware of what actual fear feels like. However, he still felt that the incident known as Pascagoula abduction was far scarier.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yep. Inside the craft, he was held captive inside a white room with round walls, and he was unable to move. Both Calvin and Charles were kept in separate rooms. The eye-shaped machine was used to conduct some kind of experiment on him, and then the strange creatures left the room. And that is when he called out for Calvin, but received no response. However, they appeared again after a while and floated Hickson back into the first room, and then outside the craft, where he finally found
Calvin.
When he finally found Calvin shaken in fear. Sorry, there's a typo in there. I'm screwing it up.
So they put Cal out first, and then they brought him out, but they're floating them. So these beings, or whatever they are floating as well. I mean, they look like robots, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what he said earlier. They got the impression that they were robots. I mean,
this is
better robots.
What year?
Than aliens.
1973.
Yep.
All right, so imagine the 73's robots like this.
Ugh.
I mean, it'd be weird now, but not really. If we see Optimus and these robots and all these other Chinese robots, I mean, they're doing crazy stuff now.
Yeah, but they're not all wrinkly.
No, you're right.
This is an interesting tidbit. Before taking off in their craft, the aliens left a strong message relayed through telepathy, saying that we are peaceful. We meant you no harm. The two fishermen decided to report the encounter with the aliens to the police and fled to the police station. To check the credibility, the policeman had a tape recorder inside his desk and left the men alone. He knew that if they were fabricating the story, they would probably discuss it. But when he reviewed the tape, the men stuck to their story. And Parker even broke down crying. It was revealed during the further investigation that several police officers in the area had also seen UFOs around the same time. Both men later went under hypnosis and lie detector tests. No evidence of hoaxing was ever found. Hickson later had further encounters involving much of his family.
Interesting.
The case later became popular as the Pascagoula abduction and gained attention. So that's a pretty broad overview.
Yeah.
Now that's an even more terrifying photo that you just had on there. Hold on, scroll down a little bit.
Oh, this one.
That one. Whoa.
Yeah,
they do look like mummies, though. You're right. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, how come there's like, oh, that's the light? Okay.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I take it back. I think the previous picture was scarier.
That's the one he drew, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks like a mummy. That one looks just I don't even know how to describe it.
Long arms, 5 feet tall, pinchers or claws, mumbling sound, like blah, 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 blah. Round feet or pads, elephant textured skin.
Oh, so it wasn't necessarily elephant feet, like elephant wrinkly skin. I get that.
Right.
Okay. All right. What is this website? I think we used it a couple weeks ago. No, this is a different one. Never mind.
Oh, maybe the next one. All right, where are we? Oh yeah, here. So there was some new evidence. This website is called the UFO Chronicles. I think we've used stuff from them before. Anything else from here? Their heads appeared connected directly to their so there's new stuff.
Well, I think that was in the last article too. I think
you were
reading that part. They were saying there's no neck. The head directly.
Yeah, that's right.
Connected directly into their torso.
All right, we probably read this football-shaped mechanical eye. Yeah, that's all the same.
6 to 8 inches in diameter. Oh, I was expecting it to be bigger.
All right, so here's the puncture wound document.
Okay.
After the book was published and became a bestseller on Amazon, I continued my search for any formal documentation related to the incident, as any that had been in the possession of Calvin Parker had been washed away by Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, of course. I contacted all of the major UFO groups, one of which included the J. Allen Hynek Center for UFO Studies in the USA. They were very obliging and sent me a PDF file of what they had on the case. Most of what they sent was newspaper cuttings, but buried in the middle of this file was a very curious and possible smoking gun typewritten document. Although this document, dated 13th of October 1973, just 2 days after the alien encounter, is unsigned, and it was written by Dr. James Harder. We know it was written by Dr. Harder, as he was the only person to examine the witness, which has been confirmed by Calvin Parker. Dr. James Harder's academic credentials are as follows. Okay. Dr. Harder, along with Dr. Allen Hynek, were on site in Pascagoula within 36 hours of the event happening. They interviewed Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson, and at a press conference confirmed that they believed what the witnesses were saying. All right, so the smoking gun document and photos has never been seen in public before and can only add to the authenticity of Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson's testimony. Charles Hickson died. Oh, yeah, so he did die in 2011. But Calvin Parker has this to say about this document. Quote, at the time of my abduction on October 11th, 1973, when the alien reached out to take me on board the ship, from the first time I saw them, it was the fear I felt that is so hard to describe. I just knew I would not live through this fear. As the alien made contact to my left arm, I heard a whisk of what I thought was air. Then all at once, I became really relaxed and all the fear was gone. Later on, after being examined by Dr. James Harder, I heard him telling Dr. Hynek that I had puncture marks on my arm. And later at the hospital, I found out that I was given not one shot, but 2 shots. The second was while I was on board the craft. This document simply confirms what I've always known, and that is both Charlie and I were given injections by these creatures, and we had the puncture wounds to prove it. So here we are, puncture marks noted on Saturday, 1973. This is the see the photos. So the photos are here. The puncture wounds photos of Charles Hickson's arm and in close up.
Wow. They're pretty sloppy with their handiwork. As someone who's been in the hospital a lot, and had various needles. And I want to be clear, needles from the hospital shoved into me.
Right. Yeah.
They typically don't leave marks like that.
No, they don't. I mean, unless they mess up, like if they miss
Right.
a vein or something.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So next was this came out, which is they didn't make it up. Interview recording surfaces in Pascagoula alien abduction case. So it's the longer version of what the police recorded.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. You hear about something like that, but you can't believe it. Yeah, you hear that. I know. Yeah, I know. There is something the United States can have up there. No,
it's not clear at all, right?
No, not particularly.
Oh man, wait. Let's just give it another 30 seconds.
Yeah.
We see. We see. It's something in the Air Force and all know it's up there too. See, and this ain't gonna be the only thing that's gonna happen again. This shit's not that hard to take. That ain't shit. No, I know. Come one down and you got scared me to death too. I just laying there crying about that. I can't tell you. It's something that you can't get over in a lifetime. See.
I can't understand what he's saying. Is it just me?
No, I can't understand it either. I was really hoping they were gonna like at least subtitle it or something.
Yeah, I was looking for settings here for subtitles.
Apparently, it was good enough for the cops, though. So,
yeah, it was an officer with the Pascagoula Police Department. All right, so they leaked it, so it's not like the guy's not identifying himself.
When I sat down and listened to it, it hit me how real all of this was. Parker said it kind of choked me up a little bit. I never heard it, not the full recording, just the piece where Charlie and I were locked in the room and they walked out. I was surprised they had the whole thing on tape. You have to remember, this was a tape recorder that was shoved into a desk,
right?
And it was the 1970s equipment. So I mean, it's not like the same thing now.
Right, exactly. Well, I'm sure we can get it transcribed.
Yeah.
So Parker. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's what made it more real too, because they didn't know that it was being recorded and it was in the room. So them discussing it and saying how scared they were in private added to the authenticity.
Yeah.
That's him. That's Calvin Parker right now.
The interview took place on October 11th, 1973, after Parker and Hickson claimed that they were abducted by aliens while fishing from the bank of the Pascagoula River. News of the event thrust the two into the media spotlight and put the town of Pascagoula on the map. It was unwanted attention for Parker, who tried to distance himself from it. Yeah, I mean, smart guy. If you get abducted by aliens, your life is completely ruined, as we've seen over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they get to sell books, I guess.
Not always, and even then, I mean, selling books is not unless you're what's his name? Well, yeah, I was going to say Stephen King. You don't make a living off of selling books.
Yeah, those guys worth hundreds of millions. But I mean, someone like Stephen King, what a writer, and to just continue writing stories like that for decades is a talent.
I've read many of his books. 2 of his books are in my top 5 favorite books. 11/22/63 about the JFK assassination, guy going back in time. That book is great. And then The Stand, which is probably my favorite book.
Stand's
of all
amazing.
Time.
Yeah. Stand's a great one.
I read that right at the height of COVID, and just, man, I fell in love. That's such a good book.
Last October in the quiet.
Oops. Oh, you read it during COVID?
Yeah.
Because it's relevant.
Yeah, it was super. It was super relevant. Such an amazing book, and even has a good ending, which Stephen King cannot do.
Yeah, he kind of hurries up, right?
He just doesn't. He has really good ideas, and he just doesn't know how to end his books. Although I read it, it was decent, even though he wrote like a child porn for 16 pages in the middle of it.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
man,
that was in the 80s when it came out, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
He
was on all sorts of drugs.
Oh my God!
I think everyone was in the 80s, though.
Shawshank Redemption's a good one.
Was that him?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There were ones I got into when I was younger, and I completely don't remember them. Oh, Dark Tower. Are those supposed to? I just remember them being weird.
So
I
I
didn't get
started
them.
reading the first one, and I never finished it because it just didn't grip me. But I've heard really
Yeah.
good things. Like I know my brother has read the Dark Tower series, and I think he liked them.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I didn't get it, but anyway, that was a long time ago. Maybe I
Yeah.
should try them. So here is the Pascagoula abduction broadcast. They had
Fantastic.
on the news, so we can see what was first reported when they came out during the time.
God, look at that! Look at that scarf, man. The
I
stars were
know.
so cool back then.
Yeah. Way out. Oh, it's like, whoa, way out there. Look at like
Yeah,
all the
man.
LSD like visuals.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to the way out. I might have to
Speed it up.
fast forward, yeah, and speed it up exactly.
At Mississippi town of Pascagoula, two local men confronted authorities with a rather bizarre story.
Yeah.
Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker told of a strange craft landing near their fishing site and of being taken aboard by three unearthly creatures. The two men were questioned under hypnosis and lie detectors, but their story remained intact. One of the men suffered a nervous breakdown and is still under treatment. Among the skeptics were Ralph and Judy Blum, already at work on a UFO book. With W5 last week, Ralph and Judy returned to Pascagoula.
Judy and I stumbled into this book. It came to us to be written. Suddenly we were in a wave of waves. UFOs were being seen across the country again. We were in what they call a flap. And people began experiencing things that they couldn't explain. Something was happening in our skies in the midst of Watergate, Agnew, the energy crisis, the Middle East. Something was happening and people couldn't understand what it was. We spoke about UFOs, but nobody really knew. And then it hit.
I've heard that a lot, by the way, researching this. Many people. So there was a flap during this year in 1973. There was a lot going on, and there was a lot going on with humans.
Yeah.
And then this thing happened, which is strange.
Right here, where we are, at Pascagoula. Charlie Hickson entered the news, and we had a book to write.
Could you slow it down just to the next? Slow it down just a little bit.
Sorry, what?
Can you slow it down just a little bit? Talking just a little too
Yeah.
fast. Go like 1.25. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
They say what they saw was real. They know they were the ones that saw the Pascagoula UFO.
Great song.
We were sitting on the other side of the pier with our feet, over by the river, fishing in the river. And the fish still wasn't biting, so I told Calvin, I said, well, we might as well go on. But I guess that was when I heard it. It was some kind of zipping sound. And when I turned around in this area out here, about 40 or 50 feet out there, it was some kind of craft, it looked like it was going to come right over the ground. But it came on down and hovered about a foot and a half or 2 feet off of the ground. We didn't know what to do, the river behind us and that out there not knowing what it was. So, and then before we had time to really do anything, it seemed like an open appeared. Toward the end, it was, toward us. And the blue light, it had blue flashing lights as it was, pushing the ground, and they went out. And when the opening appeared, some source of light came from the inside. It was just almost blinding.
Sheriff Diamond, can you tell me just what happened that night?
No, sir, I can't. All I can tell you, there was two men came into the sheriff's department approximately 8:30 and 9 o'clock. They were all excited, upset, wanting to climb the walls, hysterical, crying. That's actually all I know is what happened. As far as me seeing what happened, I don't know. Of course, we could see them in the opening coming from, when they started out the craft. But
Did you think it was people coming out at first?
Well, they had I kind of thought it was people at first, off like that. But of course, when they appeared there in front of me, it was the most shock I've ever had in my life.
What did you see?
Well, they were shorter than me. I'd say about 5'2" or 3", and they didn't have a neck. Their head, it seemed to come directly to their shoulders, and it had something. It came out to a point about where a nose would be, and on each side the ears. And I believe that they looked like they were a little longer on the ears than the nose,
but still pointed.
They were still pointing, yes.
But since I was down there, since I was a physician, and several other scientists and investigators were asked to consult and look into the situation, I was asked, and would I mind if I would be present? And I said I wouldn't mind at all. And while it is still very difficult for us to believe that a spaceship landed and that robot type creatures came out and actually took these two people into the spaceship, these men, in my opinion, believe that they saw this and that they were being honest in reporting what they have reported.
But it seemed to me when he came out that doorway, or that opening, whatever it was, then just almost instantly they were right there on us. And their arms, they had arms. And I saw the arms moving here and in the shoulders, but they had weld. I mean, their fingers were weld, and then they had something like a thumb, and they were like this.
We questioned them at length. And then we left the room and recorded all the conversation they had. Recorded between the two of them. And we kept on praying. And he said, after all I went through on this earth, I said, why should I have to see something like this?
Calvin Parker, I was questioning him, and at one time he wanted to climb the wall. That's how nervous and how shook up he was.
They had me one on this arm like this, and on the other one, they had my other arm like that. And I just seemed to lift up to the same height they were off the ground, and we just moved into the crowd.
Now inside, how did they lay you out? Do you remember how it happened?
Yes. I didn't see any tables or chairs.
The cigarette, of course, right? The police officer also, he was like sitting there at the interview, like smoking a cigarette. Man, what an experience! Huh? He called like a crab, or when it came out.
Yeah, so bizarre.
I just don't get it, and that's why I think, right? The other guy's climbing the walls.
Yeah,
imagine just seeing that sight and just being taken.
Oh, one day, cuz one day.
Really though, do we want that?
No,
I guess you just relax.
No,
I mean, yeah,
you have your life.
I'd like to think. Yeah, I'd like to think we can be like Travis Walton, like just trying to whack him. Yeah, because then we can see the one who's in charge.
Right.
Yeah. Or maybe not. All right.
Or anything in there. I'm not saying it wasn't in there because the light was almost blinding, but I didn't see any. And when they carried me inside, they seemed to just lean me back, And this eye, I keep referring to it as an eye, and it moved up in front of me about this close. And it started right in my eyes, looking me right in the eye. And it hesitated there for a few seconds, and it just started moving over my entire body. When they brought me in, from the craft along this area here, and they didn't drop me, they just released me back to the ground. And I fell. I don't know why my legs were weak. I don't know why it was the fright or what it was, but I fell onto the ground. And that's when I seen Calvin. He's standing right over here in this area, and he was standing facing the river with his arms outstretched like that, just like he was staring at something.
And tell me about the lie detector test.
Well, so that was run by Pilgrim. Was it Pilgrim?
Pennington. That they run this type of test about 6 times a day. And when they were asked to come over here to talk to these people, they had in their mind that it was just a big joke. And if I understand it correctly, they ran one test on Mr. Hickson. The machine showed that he was telling the truth. Then they run another one. And then the examiner, he began to wonder himself. So he ran the third test, and he believed just what Mr. Hickson had told him.
Mr. Booth, tell me what happened that night in October.
Well, I got up and turned off the TV and come to the front door, which you can see right behind me. Just as usual, checking to see if it was locked. So I looked out the window at the top, and naturally I saw this object above the streetlight out there. So naturally caught my eye with the lights was on. I couldn't hear any racket or anything. So I opened the door after a few seconds to step out to see if I could really tell what it was. It just took off.
Can you describe it?
Well, it was round, had lights all the way around it, turning in a counter-clockwise motion. It had a dome on top with a bright light shining out through the top of it. To tell the actual figure of it or anything, you couldn't tell. You could just see the lights and the one on top.
When it happened to Charlie, the creatures, whatever they were, didn't communicate with him. Now, it's enough to say you saw a UFO to give you trouble these days in some towns. To be taken aboard is just a suspect idea. But somehow, if the creatures don't give you a message, you're just a touch less incredible. And Charlie says that what he said and what we wrote about in the book, it was like they had a job to do and they came and they did it.
I thought they got he might say it, I don't know, but I thought they said that they got they were communicated to, that we're not here to hurt you or something.
Just at the very end, I think, as they were leaving.
Yeah, okay.
I think there has to be a reason why that Calvin and me was picked.
Maybe because you could take it.
Well, it might be. I don't know. I think that they know more of what's going on down here on this earth than we think. And I don't know. They might have been, you might say, looking for somebody that could, you might say, hold up under the strain and convince people that there is another world and there's some kind of life in that world.
They were the ones that saw the Pascagoula.
Or it could be just like some random drone sent from some random planet and just is exploring, like how we send out robot, to Mars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of convenience. These aliens come down and find two yokels who are isolated from everybody else.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like if humans who are researching, let's say, polar bears, I don't think that's a great example. They're not going to go into a polar bear nest. They're not going to go into like the main polar bear community.
Right.
They're going to find the one that's isolated and off to the side.
Yep. That one, exactly. The one that's by itself.
Yeah.
All right, what's this? Oh, it's still a bad
yeah, but it has
quality here too.
It has the subtitles. It might be worth listening to.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Something that could have scared you slowing down the path, Jesus Christ. You hear about something like that, but you can't believe it. Yeah, I know. There ain't something the United States can have up there. No, I'm good. I've never done what we see. What we see. It's something in the airport and all over up there too. And this ain't gonna be the only time. It's gonna happen again. This shit's not that hard to take that, ain't she? Someone down in you. I'm scared me to death too. I just remember crying about that. I can't tell you. You can't get over a lifetime, see? Jesus Christ. That's what I thought. I had been through enough of hell on this earth, and now I have to go do something like that. See? But they could have, I guess they could have harmed us. So they could have done anything to us if they didn't hurt me. Why they just take that? I don't know. I don't tell you, man, I couldn't take it through that. I don't the guy gets nerve things or something, some doctor or something. I can't stay in them after all. I'll tell you about it when they get through this with the weather. I'll get you something. Shut you down unless we get some damn sleep. I can sleep tonight. I can do that. I understand you're crazy. The gallon brought you out of that damn thing. And when you brought me out, I like to know what the hell, God damn, I like to know what the hell got you straightened up, man. And they learned, I remember, they just froze that, just like that. I couldn't do it, just like a step on a damn ladder. They didn't do me that way, though, did I passed out. That's the first time I ever passed out in my life. You shut the new medical records, and I've never seen them like that before in my life. You can't make people believe that, though. I should hear all over that, because I never had to wake up and start breathing. I wake up and start breathing. Listen, I seen it. I can't figure out the damn door. You see how that door will come in on the same chair? I don't know how to open something. I didn't see no door swing. I don't know how to open. I don't know how to shit on. This is something like, when look around, them damn blue lights in them some bitches, just like that to come out. Yeah, no, you can't believe it. You can't make people believe it. I paralyzed right there. I couldn't believe it. They won't believe it one of these days. They won't believe it one of these days. It might be too late. I knew all along there was people from out of the world up there. I knew all along. I never thought it would have to mean. You know yourself, I don't grant it. I know that. It's something that. And you got to choose being on that boat and everything else, but I know one. Very little now, Trey. I drank so while ago when I got out of that damn day and settled my damn nerves. They lasted about 2 days. I told you what to do. I'll probably take me a couple of drinks when I get to the house and make me see something. If I would have my nerves, I'd go like something right now. When I get to the house, I'm going to get me another drink to make me sleep. I can't. There's something wrong with you. What are we waiting on? I got to go take a plane, son. How did it say we had to wait? I got to go to the house. I don't sit here and get 3 days food. I'm getting serious. I got to go to the house. Wait a minute, let me go. That's
Damn. They were scared, man.
Yeah, that poor kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's
clearly freaking out. The guy's like, I just need another drink. I can get you.
Yeah.
It's just go, no, I can't do that, man.
Yeah, he's like
out.
he feels like he went crazy, and he's like, no one's gonna believe us. No one's gonna believe us. I knew there were aliens up there, and he
Well,
just
and if you remember at the very beginning of this whole clip, the newscaster was saying he went into, a mental
oh
care.
yeah, a nervous breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was the point? I guess it's just to study them. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it's impossible to try and understand the wants and desires of an upper echelon being.
Yeah, and maybe they were target, maybe they're not. Like you said, that they were just secluded and they happened to be there. Perfect. There we go.
Yep.
Let's do this quick and get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some other rare footage from the 70s.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's interviews with them on shows.
Back when they used to have TV shows like this where they'd bring on people and
Yeah.
talk about their. This is when we talked about last week when we talked about Fire in the Sky, and they this is the type of show that they had on with I don't was it Travis Walton? It was Travis Walton's brother and Philip
Yeah.
Glass arguing, and it was on a
Yeah,
show
yeah.
like this.
Right. Yeah, basically the talk shows, and there was
Yeah.
smoking on there too, right?
Oh yeah.
And screaming. Now everyone's worried about their feelings.
An ordinary UFO sighting. Many people wanted to hear about it.
The people themselves don't want to, they just are not seeking publicity, just want to relay their story to proper governmental authority.
Sheriff's deputies went to the scene.
There's no way of us determining whether anything landed here. What happens now? We're fixing to take them to Keesler Air Force Base right now. We're checking them for radiation, and they're going to check them over there.
UFO investigators interviewed the men.
Both of the men were able to be hypnotized. The experience, however, has been so traumatic that I thought it best that we go slow with this investigation.
Simply no question in my mind but that these men have had a very trying experience.
They came out to a point.
At first, the men refused to talk to reporters.
Then
they agreed to talk if they were not seen. Soon, they were facing the cameras and talking to anyone who would listen. But when two men come in and say they have been picked up by a spacecraft and examined, how do you go about investigating that?
Well, all we could do is go to the scene and interview these men and really stay with these men and observe them and question them. I mean, to the fullest extent. And at no time could their stories were the same. We interviewed them separately and then we put them together. We monitored their conversation. I believe the men saw something that scared them. But like I said already, I don't know what.
A few days after the UFO incident, Charlie Hickson went back to his job as a foreman at Walker & Son shipyard in Pascagoula. Calvin Parker also worked at the shipyard, but after the incident, he quit his job and moved back to his hometown, Laurel, Mississippi.
Just to start with, I thought I was just down as far as mentally. So I got out and got married, got a job on this chicken farm. When I was working in the oil field, they wouldn't let me work out there and they didn't pay you so, because you know how much a man is, they'll harass you and all. So I quit, went to work on this chicken farm, just me and my wife. And I really enjoyed it down there now. I've got myself back together in the past few months. And I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm doing real good now.
Do you have any notion why you were picked?
No, not really. I guess I've asked myself that question 100 times. Why me?
It is, in my mind, a hoax. A hoax that's been perpetrated on the American public.
Who is this? Glass? No, that's not him. This is someone else.
I was wondering that same thing. It might be.
All right. Let's see his opinion on a hoax.
CIA plant himself.
Yeah. They all have the same look, don't they?
Uh-huh. Looks like government stooge.
Yeah.
Is so fantastic, almost challenges one's credulity.
Yeah.
Well, the only honest thing I can say is that they both had one hell of a frightening experience. But whether it was
that's Hynek.
nuts and bolts hardware, something.
Yeah, that's Hynek. That's our man.
Yeah.
I can't say, because when I was there, I looked around to see if there are any physical effects, as we have had in other cases where the ground has been disturbed or tree branches broken. I could find no evidence, no physical evidence in this particular case. And yet, to them, I feel quite sure they weren't hoaxing or weren't lying.
Things have been written, and many different stories have been told about what happened October 11th, 1973, on the banks of the Pascagoula River here in Pascagoula, Mississippi. We had encountered something that had to be from another world. Our government say.
Mr. Hickson's record is a straightforward account of the story he has told so often during the last year.
Get more involved. They shouldn't need to get to care with themselves. Right.
Mr. Hickson is also writing a book and has taken a leave of absence from his job to work on it.
You know, something will happen to all of us some of these days, and if something did happen to me, then there will be a record of what did happen to Calvin and me.
I will announce Rennie Bradley, TV reporter on the scene, reports on UFOs. Okay, Rennie, and then you, like I said, we want the record sold, and then you introduce Mr. Hickson. And then after that, I'm going to take this young lady here. I'm going to hypnotize her. She's going to go back to her mommy's tummy, and we're going to go into her super consciousness, which is back into probably another world or somewhere.
What the hell is
and then
this?
we're going to ask her questions all about UFOs. Charlie, I want you to sit next to her because you're going to feel some of your vibrations.
Sunday, I'm going to sit down with him, and I'm going to get just as close as I can of what the craft looks like.
Hey, Charlie.
I probably look worse today.
That's not
Did you see
funny.
the thing take off and go away and disappear?
I saw it leave. I can't say that how far out I've seen it, but it seemed to just almost instantly was home.
Yeah, and this is the examining thing that is floated in front of you.
Right.
How do you feel about all this by now? Why do you think you were singled out?
Well, I don't know. I can't figure that out. I have no idea. I keep saying, why me, you know, what does it mean? Dear Mr. Hickson, we saw you on the Dick Cavett show, and we were fascinated by your experience. We believe in the things you have been said, and do not think you are involved in a hoax of any kind. We do believe that we are not the only beings in the universe, and that people should be aware of that fact. And it's signed sincerely, Sarah Roberts and Jim Nelson.
I didn't believe him at first, just like all the other people. I really didn't believe it. But now I definitely believe every word he has spoken because I have been through with what he has gone through with, living with him.
It's costing me a lot of time. It's actually costing me money. But I don't know. I just feel obligated now to let the entire world, if necessary, know that these things did happen to us, that it is true.
He's a truthful man.
I voted for number one. He looks like the kind of a gentleman that this conceivably did happen to. Like somebody said, he looks very sobered by the experience.
We have 2 votes for number one. We have 1 vote for number 2 and 1 vote for number 3. So, will the real Charles Hickson please stand up?
Hilarious. He was on game shows.
That's so 70s.
I know. Well, he got the story out there.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I feel for these guys, especially the younger one. We finally figured out they both worked at the same shipyard, which is, I'm assuming, how they knew each
Yeah.
other.
Right.
Good to know. But yeah, I mean, the kid clearly didn't take this too well, as no fault of his own. I mean, this is a tough. I mean, what a horrible, terrifying situation to be put in, and then
So
to
scary.
take it to the police, knowing no one's going to believe you, and then it ends up national news, and having to live with that, I think, would be extremely difficult.
Yeah, and then this one came out 5 years ago. I guess a new witness comes forward. So someone saw the UFO. I don't know if they saw them being put in there. I don't think so. Yeah, here she is.
What she saw that night is something she's telling for the first time publicly.
It was a warm night. It was like 70, 73 degrees. And so it was kind of easy to sit in the car and just wait for the captain to get there.
While they were waiting, Jerry went to sleep, and Maria saw what she describes as strange, a blue light streaking back and forth.
You're looking up at the sky and you looking at stars and you're looking for the Big Dipper and all kinds of things. And that's when I seen it rise up in the sky over here. Where I seen it come up was probably over in this area somewhere, the blue light. And it was over, just like I said, right over where they were abducted.
At the time, she thought it was a plane or a helicopter.
You don't think it's UFO?
The blue light continued moving without noticeable sound for about 30 minutes. And when it went out of sight,
we hear this loud water, just like something just fell in the water. It was a loud splash. The water just riffling, and then when I looked down, that's when I seen it look like a person in the water. I'm looking right, it was like right below me.
Maria still doesn't know what she saw in the water and didn't think much of it until the next day when she heard about what Parker and Hickson had told the Jackson County Sheriff's Department.
I was watching 2 men being abducted by a UFO.
Despite believing what she saw was a UFO, she never talked about it to anyone except her family. Maria's husband wanted her to keep quiet.
When she would talk about it, I'd tell her, shut up. I said, people are going to think you're crazy.
But after seeing a recent media report about the abduction, Maria got the courage to come forward. Her motivation? To give Calvin Parker and Charles Hickson's story validation.
I always wanted to talk to them, just them, about it. And just see, let them know that I knew that they weren't lying, because they weren't lying.
In 1973, Maria Blair and Calvin Parker were separated by a river. Now, with a 45-year-old secret washed under the bridge, Maria met Calvin face to face for the first time.
How are you? Good to see you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, wow. It's my husband, Jerry.
Last time I saw you was on Johnny Carson. Yeah. When was that? About 74, 75?
75. Yeah. We've been friends. We just didn't know
it. We just didn't know it. That's right.
It didn't take long for the conversation to turn to what's brought Calvin and Maria together.
Yeah, it's burnt right in my mind.
That is mine, too.
I seen it go up from right here, and that's when I seen it in the air with the blue light, and it took off that way, and it followed along that river.
Calvin's story has been questioned and doubted for most of his life. He says he had lost all hope of a witness coming forward, but now he and Maria both have a sense of relief.
I want to thank you for coming forward.
I can now put my mind at ease that I've told what I knew.
Before I die, I'll at least have somebody that come forward and ease my mind a little bit.
3 people have now told their stories of the UFO on the Pascagoula River. Calvin Parker has written a book about it, and he doesn't think these will be the last stories told of extraterrestrial life on Earth.
It's foolish to look up in the sky and see all these stars, and all these stars has got planets around them, and think that we're the only life.
Yep. What a case.
What a case.
I don't think it's hoaxed.
I don't think it's hoaxed either. I have doubts about that woman at the end. No offense. I do want to believe, most people that come forward and talk about UFOs. I hope she's telling the truth, but it's just a little.
Yeah. So what did she say? She looked into the river and saw.
Yeah, like I'm wondering. Yeah, it was kind of. They brushed past that pretty quickly. I'm wondering if she saw one of the wrinkly elephant beings in there. I don't know.
What's her name again? Maybe I should look for her.
Either way, this is a really cool case. Lot of, I just feel bad for them mostly.
Me too. I mean, and it's probably just that bad luck or good luck, whatever you want to call it. It's just luck of the draw. I don't think they were a target or anything like that. And, it's like getting hit by lightning.
Right. Well, at least, when you get hit by lightning, it's one of those things where if it's stormy outside, you can know not to go outside because you might get hit by
Yeah.
lightning.
Right.
UFO cases, you can't not go outside at night for your whole life. I mean, that'd be pretty challenging.
So yeah, back around 1973, this is a commenter. There were many sightings of strange lights in the sky around Cleveland, Mississippi.
Didn't
So
even
lots
know
of
there
people-
was a Cleveland in Mississippi.
Me neither.
Well, cool. I mean, yeah, clearly
Yeah.
there was something going on. And, just based on everything we've watched today, it really doesn't seem like these two are lying. I mean,
No.
for God's sakes, that one guy, the younger one, was hospitalized.
Yeah,
because of how
hospitalized,
he had a
quit.
nervous breakdown.
Yeah, changed
You
his
don't-
life completely.
Yeah, and he did his best to get away from it as much as he could,
Yeah.
despite evidence to the contrary, is what we're seeing right now. But
Yeah, I mean, he said he got it together, and I guess why not capitalize on it? That's what he's trying to do.
well, I
and
think I don't know if it's capitalizing as much as it is just
getting the
acknowledging that
story
it
out there.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and getting out there. I mean, it's probably therapeutic for him. As
Yeah.
we know, talking about issues and problems really helps out. So
Tell me about it. This whole podcast is therapeutic for me.
Agreed. Who else can we talk to about this stuff?
Right.
Except our viewers and listeners.
I'm pretty sure our immediate families are really sick of us screaming at them about UFOs.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and it's at least for me, like I don't share as much as I used to with them about stuff because hopefully because they're gonna listen to the show too.
Hopefully.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully. Do you remember last week that whole thing about JWST?
that was a big story that was floating around, kept getting quoted as a rumor about a signal that they had found. But this guy has something important to say about it.
Yeah, and he's the one because the articles were about him or quoting him, so I think he wants to clear the air of what's actually going on, and he's the source of that information. Where is he in a cave?
Yeah, it's a very cool underground. Looks like a studio. I would live in a place like that. That looks like a bomb shelter. I love
does. It totally does. And look, he has all this stuff from the 19th century.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So he calls him professor. I think he's a professor too. Simon Holland. He's a science filmmaker. So let's listen when he talks about this technical signature.
Global. I would have, because it's true. It's absolutely brilliant that the world media are now talking about radio telescopes. Radio telescopes are not understood and are often ignored. But in this story about an alien technological signature being detected, you need to have a very big radio telescope. So that's super exciting. But I have to say, the silly quotes in the newspaper saying that the confirmation of an alien technological signature will happen next week or next month are absolutely ridiculous. The confirmation of an alien technological signature will come when the data has been analyzed, and hopefully soon, but putting a date on it is ridiculous. Peace, love, and we're not alone understanding to everybody who's read the story. I'm very flattered, and I'm pleased that this story has got out there. But there are still some big questions that you are asking. So let me, as a science filmmaker and researcher, go over what I know. How I found out about a possible alien technological signature was here in Europe. Not from SETI, not from Breakthrough Listen, but here in Europe, from European Radio Astronomy. Right now, the EU are funding a large telescope in Germany, a data center analyzing these signals in Holland, a new telescope to be built in Africa, and very much putting money into the square kilometer array, which is being built, but is operational to an extent in Australia. That's the real story.
Typical British teeth, huh? Here, let's pause it on the right.
Breakthrough Listen.
All right, that's a below the belt.
It is
punch.
a little bit, yep.
All right, yeah, wasn't funny, but he's been after because we've played him before. He does great videos, great science videos, especially about space and UFOs. And I'm glad he's pushing this stuff out there.
Definitely, yeah. We need more people like him.
Yeah, YouTube studio. So I guess he's got 1 million views or subscribers.
Have thrown tons of dollars in buying telescope time, but it's actually European radio astronomy and data analysis who have possibly found evidence for this signal. long before Breakthrough Listen came online and looked at one of the European extraterrestrial signal candidates, radio astronomers in Europe were actually looking at this signal. And European science continues to analyze the signal today. What's actually happening is that data from all these big telescopes are coming to a data processing center in Holland, who have come up with an audacious plan. Let me explain the problem and let me tell you how they are fixing it. A single dish, Parkes, has just one signal. A better way of doing it would be to multiplex all of the radio telescopes throughout the world, and specifically these arrays, like the Square Kilometre Array, all with hundreds of dipole antenna on the ground. But all those separate antennas are slightly out of phase. If you combine them all, it would just produce noise. There needs to be a way of joining all the radio telescopes together and actually filtering out the noise and making one clear signal. That's what's happening in Europe right now. They have done that. So the original peer-reviewed and very good report by Breakthrough Listen on BLC1, where they say it's such a low-level signal, we can't confirm it isn't human interference. They're absolutely correct back in 2022. But today, in 2024, here in Europe, we can now combine different radio telescopes throughout the world and look for one very clear signal. And that's what's actually happened. The signal, whatever it is, it could be alien, it could be a natural source, but it's definitely coming from a rotating planet, is now being analyzed in great detail. And that's the kind of research I really enjoy doing for you. I've been involved in broadcast television programs that have looked behind the scenes at big stories, so I know how to operate in that kind of science field. Today in the 21st century, we don't have a single person who's going to win a Nobel Prize. They're all teams. In fact, they're multinational teams. You need hundreds of scientists collaborating on one project. There's no longer a single person who you can name. So that's the real story. That's what's really behind the possibility that an alien, non-human intelligence technological signature of just a buzz from a planet, of something that they're doing using a narrowband electromagnetic frequencies, or maybe lasers, who knows, is a signature of a non-human intelligence with a technology. I mean, that's absolutely fascinating. But that story will be confirmed by hundreds of scientists looking at tons of data from a whole bunch of telescopes that now can be combined. So thank you, news organizations, for breaking this story. You need to dig into it a bit more. There's not
All right, so it's going to take a while, basically, is what he's saying. He needs all these scientists are now focusing on studying this signature, and if after they've studied it for I don't know how long and got rid of any errors or human interference, then they'll announce it. So it's possible, not imminent. That's for sure.
Right. Well, it's cool of him to come forward and clear the air.
Yeah.
As we know, journalism is dead. No one cares about the truth. They're just trying to get the first words out there for everybody.
Yep, trying to get the clicks too, right? That's what it is. Yep. It's who can get all the clicks instead of
got to
who
generate
can get the
that
truth out there.
sweet ad revenue.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, did you look into this? So, and this came out of nowhere. This because I saw it also, and it was deleted. This Jerry from NASA guy.
I don't think I saw this. No.
Okay, but someone caught it. Good, thankfully. Rebecca Ramali. This is a strange one for me. She says, today in my For You X feed, same as me, I saw this post from a random account. The post had reached 100,000 views and 700 bookmarks within 2 hours. A few minutes, I noticed the post got deleted. So he's Jerry from NASA.
At NASA, Jerry, we have known how the craft fly for a long time, but the materials required are beyond our current engineering technology, as they have to be fabricated in zero gravity under extreme temperatures.
And he shares this.
I can definitely understand everything about this. I totally get it, and I refuse to explain it to all of our listeners or viewers.
Oh, come on, Topher.
No, I think this is really this is basic math that everyone should understand and can totally get it 100% just by looking at this tweet.
Right-hand metamaterials, left-hand metamaterials. He talks about circuit analog, wave propagation, push-pull.
There's numbers and letters.
Yeah, and she asked ChatGPT what the hell is this about? So ChatGPT, all right. So I mean, it's not like it's gibberish.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know how much stock you can put into ChatGPT for actually understanding what this is.
Yes, the concepts shown in the image, particularly those involving right-handed metamaterials, left-handed metamaterials, and their unusual properties like negative refraction, are relatively well known within the scientific fields of electromagnetics, optics, and material science. These ideas have been studied extensively in academic research, particularly since the early 2000s, when metamaterials became a significant focus of experimental investigation. Yeah, they're saying that's what these UFOs are made of, is these metamaterials. That's what gives them the charge that they need,
right,
to move around and float. So yeah, he works Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He deleted that post. And then someone found the book of where. Oh yeah, Richard Geldrick found the book that where that diagram came from.
The deleted posts were not a LARP, he says, and then post a link to the book here. Quantum wave mechanics. Huh.
2018.
So whatever he's trying to say here, it is actually backed up by science and math, and
yeah, look at that gravity. So it was light, electricity, gravity.
Huh.
I bought the book, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I gotta get this.
Good luck understanding it.
I'm not going to, but maybe he's good at making it in layman's terms. I don't know what the reviews say. 5 out of 5, all of them. Destructive interference waves. I guess these guys are scientists. Hollow beam. Look at this stuff. I mean, we definitely have them.
Right. You know, I will take all of these smart people's word for it, because this is, you might as well be showing me pictures of
like fractals.
Yeah, you might as well be, yeah, exactly. You could be showing me pictures of fractals. You could be showing me pictures of cells in the interior lining of an elephant's digestive system. And I would go, yep, that's quantum mechanics right there.
Maybe one of our listeners or viewers understands this.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully they're smarter than me.
Gravity is viewed as a frequency synchronization interaction between coupled mass oscillators.
Yeah, that's a bunch of words. I understand individually what they mean, but put together, I have no idea what they're talking about. Let's move on. I feel like I'm losing brain cells by the minute.
Discovered a document that.
So the UAP task force had a presentation. I guess Race, what's his name? Stratton. He did the presentation. So John Greenwald from the Black Vault got this back, and you have to see like what's redacted. It's crazy. And if this subject wasn't so serious, they wouldn't redact stuff like this, you know?
Right.
If it was just balloons. Or even our stuff. It's like, I think B1 is national security. They even got rid of one of the agencies here, maybe it's CIA or someone, but like their involvement is redacted. But when we get to the president,
definitely the CIA.
Right? It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Usually. But look at all these are partners. So these are people that were working with the US UAP task force.
US Coast Guard, what are they doing in there?
Yeah, I guess because of the USOs that come out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Army, then law enforcement, intelligence community. Maybe it's the NSA.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, here, listen, it's funny. He's pretty, because it is really frustrating, the stuff they release to us that are redacted.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about a UAP task force list of consultants. but we don't know who was on that list. Obviously, Travis Taylor is either high up on it or somebody who works very closely with the list of people. But obviously, there's some industry academia that are involved. Maybe that's what he's referring to here in the briefing of their consultants. Not really sure, but interesting to see nonetheless. Now we get into, obviously, something they don't want to show you. You can see here the next slide is entirely redacted, with the exception of the header, or at least part of the header, reported sightings of UAP, and then redacted. So whatever comes after UAP there, if you're not watching the visual version, there's a word or words past UAP that they won't tell you. Then the entire slide is redacted. Big black box that says B1. Somebody posted on social media, I don't know if they were joking or not, it's a brilliant idea, a t-shirt with it was all black t-shirt with this B1 on it, and I thought it was brilliant. I've never seen one before. If you guys know if somebody's selling it, please let me know. I will buy one from them.
All right, so there we go. We can make a quick t-shirt and then tag John Greenwald. That would be a cool t-shirt, right?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, definitely.
I just didn't want to take the idea and maybe before. I had received it along with other.
So they show this. So this slide's completely open. It's a Tic Tac slide. And probably because that case has been declassified. That would make sense.
Yeah, and everyone
right?
knows about it at this point.
Oh, and look, this see here, classification redacted. So they don't even want us to know what the classification is.
Wow.
That's how high up it is.
That's diabolical.
But it's not a serious subject, everyone. It's just a bunch of clowns.
Bunch of hoaxes, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and wasting Congress's time and money. All right, where's the next one? There's another one I thought you wanted to see. Oh yeah, these ones. So yeah, pilot reports.
Completely
and then it's all blacked out. Now, my guess is these are photographs, maybe some text. I mean, that's all just speculation and conjecture. Who knows? But they're talking about photographs of the UAP and absolutely nothing there. All redacted for national security reasons. The next slide, same deal. All redacted for national security reasons. Top to bottom, including the entire header. The next slide, the entire header is redacted yet again, but now we see something familiar. UAP are not easily explainable, can quickly overwhelm our aircrew. And we see some visuals of one of the leaked 3 UAP videos, namely the gimbal. And you see 3 screen grabs from that. Underneath the 3 screen grabs from the gimbal video is another section entirely blacked out for national security reasons. You go to the next slide, and you see what are likely 4 different photos with 4 different captions, all of which are redacted with the exception of one photo that's a still frame of a video that we've seen before. This is the green. Some people talk about triangle UFOs. Some talk about pyramid UFOs. Others will debunk this, saying that the triangular shape is simply the aperture of the camera, and that's the shape that you see, that this could not be that particular shape, but rather an artifact of the camera. Look, I let people much smarter than me kind of determine all of that and duke it out when it comes to the image analysis. But regardless, we can see that one. But obviously, 3 other photos are classified for national security reasons. Going to the next slide, yet again, we have an entire slide, top to bottom, header included, big black boxes, national security reasons, fully exempted. Next slide, current assessment. The UAPTF has collected redacted reports dated from the last redacted years that describe encounters with UAP. More than half have been detected via multiple sensors. Now, let's back up. They won't tell you how many reports that the
I mean, what really bothers me is here the potential explanations. The first one, B1, that's national security reasons. 2, unknown weather
natural phenomena. Sure.
3, B5. I think B5 is privacy. So what would this? I think B5 is. Wait, let's see if he goes over it. But come on, this one here.
Yeah,
if it was
really
China or
frustrating.
Russia, it wouldn't be redacted. You know.
Mm-hmm.
UAPTF collected. They won't tell you how many years they had been collecting reports or how far back those go. Why not? See, Arrow even gives out how many cases that they have, or at least rough estimates. What is it about this that they won't tell you the number of cases or how long they've collected them or how far back they go, whichever this is in reference to, all for national security reasons? This is one of the most fun redactions, potential explanations. It's a list of 3 things, potential explanations for UAP. Number 1, entirely redacted. Now, what's redacted about this? Like why? The number 1 explanation, potential explanation from the UAPTF is fully redacted for national security reasons. Can they really not say? Let's just give the benefit of the doubt that this says foreign technology, Chinese, Russian, whatever, UAVs if they want to go the drone route, balloons if they want to go the balloon route, balloons and drones if they want to tackle both of them in this line. Why can't they tell us that? They're quick to release images of Chinese spy craft that are floating above. They're quick to shoot it down and take action. They're quick to release some photos.
Yeah.
There is one incident where they went and recovered the debris, and those photos actually do exist. The rest is being hidden, but at least they talk about what they claim those objects were, which were, again, these spy craft, spy balloons with technology on board. Yet with this, they won't even tell you roughly what that
NHI,
potential
or, I don't
explanation
know,
is.
breakaway
One of the
group.
more fascinating redactions, if you ask me, because again, you can sit and think about that for a while. I'll move on, but you can sit and think about that for a while. Think about potential explanations that fit there and think about why they would redact it. It's pretty interesting to kind of play around with those answers. Number 2, unknown weather or other natural phenomena. So that's self-explanatory. Number 3 is exempted, redacted the whole line, but this time it's B5. Now I want to juxtapose these two. Number 1 was B1. So the number 1 list, again, national security reasons why they wouldn't tell you. Number 3, B5 is a different exemption. The different exemption is essentially internal deliberation.
Oh yeah, so there's privacy.
It's in the FOIA world what we call the redacted if you want to exemption.
Oh.
There's really no justification, rhyme, reason, or definition for FOIA exemption B5 other than what the law says. And that's essentially
Interesting. All right. So B5 is like if they just feel like it.
Mhm.
Isn't that nice? What a great
So
love
nice.
the transparency, huh?
Of course.
You
Our
can't know these
government's
potential
so
explanations.
transparent.
Yeah, you guys are too dumb. You can't handle these potential explanations for what these things
Right.
could be. Yeah. Or I mean, what would someone else argue? That they are protecting, that they are that they know, for example, like they don't want the Chinese to think that they know they could be China, and that's why.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I don't know.
Anyway, okay, we can move on. So, good work by John Greenwald there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
getting
I
those
like-
documents.
Of course. Yeah, it looks like FOIA is actually good for something, kind of. I mean, you can see when you request stuff from the government, they can give you whatever they choose to, regardless of with that B5, you know, we can redact
Yeah.
it if you want to.
I
mean,
know, it's so hilarious.
Makes the whole thing kind of pointless.
It does. Like, why even follow? Why even put B1 in anything? Let's put B5 everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna see some UFO clips. This is out of Toledo, Ohio. It's a drone that captures it. No audio there, but here's this thing. It just takes
Mhm.
off.
Wow, that is quick.
Yeah.
That thing gets out of there really quick. Wow.
And he showed the original file that's on his computer with the metadata. Yeah. Damn.
Zoom. Yeah,
And the
wow.
trail behind it.
Cool stuff.
I like how they get noticed and they just All right,
Yep.
time to move.
Gotta go.
And then, of course, there was the Langley thing.
Yeah, this one's very interesting.
Yeah, and there's a lot of articles about they're calling them now mysterious drones instead of UFOs. That was a big story. So this is over Langley Air Force Base.
Yeah, I mean,
lights, but
I think this is clearly one object.
yeah, agreed. Yeah, almost like the Phoenix Lights in a way.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking of, just like the Phoenix Lights. I was gonna say it does. I mean, it's hard to tell from this angle and the footage we've got, but it does look boomerang shaped a little bit.
Yeah, sounds like he's in the water somewhere, or there's water around him. What's he doing?
Sweet footage, dude.
Oh, he's sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. I mean, if there were flares, they would be falling.
Right. Yeah, another strange group of lights sitting over an air base.
Yeah.
Or a military base, I should say, not air base.
Cool. Yeah, there's a longer video, so you guys can go take a look at that. And then, of course, that coincided with this. I know it's the New York Post. UFO drones surveilling America's most sensitive military sites, and the Pentagon says it can't stop them.
Duh.
That's the face he's making.
Yeah. Fleets of dozens of mysterious UFO drones are surveilling America's most sensitive military sites, and the Pentagon admits it can't do much to stop the aerial intruders, according to a new report. Drones of unknown origin have been spotted flying over military bases in Virginia and Nevada in the past year, including the secret base for the Navy's Elite SEAL Teams. Navy's Elite SEAL Team 6 Commando Unit in Naval Station Norfolk, the world's largest naval port, the Wall Street Journal reports. Federal laws, however, prohibit the military from shooting down the drones due to potential risk to troops and civilians. I did not know that. Very interesting.
So I mean and that has come up from all this reporting, which is weird. I mean, continue. It just doesn't make sense.
Jamming their signals was also ruled out in high-level White House meetings, according to the Journal, over concerns that it could interfere with 911 systems, not 9/11.
Yeah.
911 systems, Wi-Fi networks, and commercial airliners. So it seems our jamming technology is still pretty broad. They can't target something small like that.
Right, and they're not allowed to either, which is weird. So it says here, the result is that the Pentagon has little recourse to halt the potential surveillance from foreign adversaries. How could that be true? Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's our government has shown time and time again they don't care about citizens and their safety. So I'm surprised that they're using that as their reason as to why they can't jam these things.
It's like they're trying to have an excuse for a false flag or an excuse to pass some law. I mean, it's weird. They are Air Force. I mean, they are bases. Of course, you can defend your base. That's what we expect. That's what we all expect. This is just bizarre, very bizarre behavior.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the home to F-22 Raptor fighter jets, which is
best fighters in the world, baby.
Pretty cool. The drones continued to appear over the course of 17 days, with officials suspecting they might have been deployed by Russian or Chinese agents to spy on American military assets. So where would they launch this from? From within the United States? Then why wouldn't the FBI get involved? Wouldn't it be easy to go find these people? I mean,
if they're as fast as we're seeing, it would be really hard to track them. But we've seen what Chinese spy balloons look like. They're not very drone like. That being said, the whole spy balloon thing could be a ruse, so we think that's the height of Chinese technology rather than these super fast, super small drones.
So all right, so I guess what they need to do is allow us to just shoot down these drones.
I suppose I get their concerns. Our military bases are surrounded by civilians, and so shooting them down could lead to civilian deaths. Of course, it's a bad look. If they do shoot something down and it kills a bunch of civilians, the jamming thing, I understand their reasoning, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like I said before, the U.S. government has no problem putting U.S. lives in danger. So I'm surprised that is the excuse that they use.
Interesting.
It's just what I find interesting is that our jamming technology is so we can't target it. It's just a broad area.
Weird.
I didn't know that. I thought for sure we had targeted jamming capabilities.
So this saying here, a clue, however, arrived the following month when a Chinese student studying at the University of Minnesota was caught flying a drone near the Langley base on January 6th. The student, Feng Yuan Shi, 26, had gotten his drone stuck in a tree and appeared to have abandoned it when he flew to California the following day.
Oh.
The drone fell from the tree the same day, finding its way to the FBI, which found the device had photographed Navy ships docked at the base.
Possibly the worst Chinese spy I've ever heard of in my life.
She was arrested a week later as he was about to board a one-way, you never do that, flight trip to China, with prosecutors charging him with unlawfully taking photos of classified Navy installations. The first such case involving a drone. I think someone said what you said. If he was a foreign agent, he would be the worst spy ever.
Yeah, called it.
She's attorney Xiaoming Chang told the WSJ. Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem if we can't shoot them down or jam them. Okay, yeah, shoot them down. There's reasons for that. But jamming them, or I don't know how else they would use lasers, or is that shooting them down, right?
Yeah, didn't we cover that story a few weeks back about how U.S. ground installations are able to use lasers to target satellites and stuff?
Oh yeah.
You'd think they'd be able to target drones in the same fashion.
Exactly, just blow them up. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Did you see this one with the Melon talk about mothership?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is drone swarms targeting U.S. military bases are operated by Mothership UFO, claims top Pentagon official.
Wow.
Yeah.
A retired senior Pentagon official has confirmed that UFO motherships were spotted releasing swarms of smaller craft, adding further mystery to the still unexplained intrusions over multiple U.S. military bases. And I think we actually played a couple videos on our show before of motherships releasing what looks like small, smaller drones.
Yeah,
it's pretty compelling stuff. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense that you have, and it's basically the cigar craft is usually the mothership, and they all fit in there, like what Travis saw when he woke up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Mellon saying that we know. Many people say he's doing disinformation or he's part of some op, but
oh wait, here's something. Senior ex-Pentagon security official Chris Mellon told Daily Mail that the episode was, in quotes, part of a much larger pattern affecting numerous national security installations. So this next part's the most important part. Two of the notable aspects, he said, are the fact that our drone signal jamming devices have proven ineffective, and these craft are making no effort to remain concealed. In fact, in some instances, as Mellon took pains to emphasize, it is clear that they want to be seen as though taunted by it, or as though taunting us.
Yeah, something's going on.
Something's going on. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Well, many people are, or at least it's out there that there's an invasion happening that's going to be coming soon, and they're coming for their crafts and their beings, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that just sounds crazy, but and then you look at this stuff, and they're always on our military bases, and just it just seems like another operation. So, an hour's drive north of Palmdale, Lockheed Martin. So crazy stuff. Shooting down. What's this? Above, a military witness testifies to the drones displaying flashing red, green, and white lights. Yeah, why do they want to be seen? This testimony was released via the U.S. Freedom of Information Act. Yeah, I mean, if they were Chinese or Russian or whatever, why would you want to have flashing lights?
Right. Well, I mean, there's the whole psychological thing. It's if you can deploy these things over an enemy base and say, no, you can't get us, and so you make yourself known, it gets in the heads of the people you're trying to intimidate.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that, but I don't think that's the case. Russian and Chinese, as we've seen, they're not that creative with in which how they infiltrate U.S. stuff.
Yeah. So he says it again here. I make no claims regarding their origin. Perhaps many are Chinese drones, Mellon says. But their brazenness, range, flight duration, reliability, resistance to countermeasures, and indifference to detection are confounding. In some cases, motherships have been reported, according to Mellon, who also managed security and information operations for part of his time at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
These motherships, Mellon clarified, were extremely fast, larger vehicles that have been observed collecting or releasing swarm of smaller craft.
Wow.
That's nuts.
One such mothership case was investigated by the FAA Special Agent Michael Bumberger over Nebraska. The local sheriff reported seeing 30 to 50 unusual craft flying independently of one another with a larger mothership hovering nearby for hours. Langley last December, Air Force personnel equipped with drone busters, signal jamming weaponry designed to counter remotely piloted enemy drones, reported that these mysterious craft failed to register on their anti-drone devices. Wow.
Damn. So I mean, it's something else, or they have a new weapon, or there's a new weapon out there that we don't know about yet.
Yeah,
that someone has, which is both are scary.
Very, very much.
But there seems that there's a lot more activity happening.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
All right, so they're trying to say it's NASA spacecrafts, maybe. Good article.
Yeah, lots of juicy stuff in there.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Oh, this was a NASA. It's old, from 2016. Have you seen this one?
I think so.
They didn't cut the feed.
They didn't cut it in time. Happens a lot for some reason.
Yeah. There it is.
Yes, I have seen this.
Yeah.
Didn't we play this on the show, actually?
Yeah, we probably have.
Anyway, it's worth revisiting.
Yeah. It hovers. Well, it stops. So no one can say it's ice. Or
right, doesn't it? It stops and then kind of takes off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's nothing from within the
atmosphere,
not lens or no, the window.
Oh, it's not
a reflection.
Right.
So right here it hovers. Yes, he slows down in speed.
Oh no, I think they see me.
Right, like, oh wait a minute, what's that thing over there? Hovers around for about 35 seconds. Well, it didn't get shot at.
Not yet. Just wait till we put missiles on the ISS.
Man, wouldn't that be nice to just come upon a planet? It's going up a little bit now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have
okay, I gotta get out of here.
And it's nuts what SpaceX has done, right? We showed last week. Seriously, we can be a spacefaring civilization because they can get that ready within an hour to go back up.
I'm just waiting for us to make a space elevator. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Won't happen in our lifetime, unfortunately.
I saw a simulation. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah. Wow.
Look at that. It's done. Or it saw something. Yeah. No one even noticed. Thanks, NASA.
Crazy stuff.
Even if it's one of ours, that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That high in atmosphere and able to make maneuvers like that, that's one of ours. That's absolutely nuts.
I mean, I wonder where they act like they're godlike.
Yeah.
So here's another one from Think Tank. Objects zapping out of the water recorded on live stream. This is really weird. I guess it could be flares or something exploding.
Swamp gas.
Yeah. So look at these things. It jumps up and then goes. Doof.
Whoa.
Yeah, then boom.
Whoa.
It could be some weird test.
Yeah, I was almost thinking this looks like some sort of military test.
Yeah. Because Florida's got a ton of bases. So it goes under the water, comes out. Yeah, it could be like some new drone or weapon.
Strange. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Good find.
Yeah, and then there's another one. Orbs captured in England.
Yeah.
You just
love
this
some
kind
orbs.
of. Yeah, let me know what you think. It kind of looks fake. I'm not sure. I mean, he does zoom in.
Huh.
Wow.
It does kind of look fake. Yeah, you're right.
Right? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. It does look very
Especially-
CGI-y.
Yeah. And these things are just going to get better.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think that's the whole point behind this push with AI.
Oh, here it is zoomed. Yeah, agreed. You won't believe anything anymore.
Right.
You're like, oh, it's AI.
Yeah.
Unless you see it with your own eyes. But then... So zoomed in. There's some good. They're defined.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that.
He said he got it by email, so he doesn't have the source or anything, so that doesn't help.
Right. Well, interesting stuff.
Yeah, you shared this one with me. Also, I didn't know about this case unless I forgot about it.
Yeah, I don't remember this case at all. So 16 school children witnessed a cigar-shaped UFO and occupants in Broadhaven, Wales in 1977. So a flying saucer seen by a guest house, a 7-foot-tall alien-like figure coming out of a hedge, excuse me, and a cigar-shaped UFO near a schoolyard. These are some of the 450 reported alien encounters from one of the UK's largest mass sightings in a remote Welsh village. The village of Broadhaven has since been described as the Bermuda Triangle of mysterious craft sightings and sightings of strange beings. Likely there's some sort of base there.
Yeah.
The spaceship looked like a cigar shape with a dome on it with yellowy, orange, or red light on the top of it. One child told BBC cameras at the time. Another child said he didn't just see a UFO, adding, "I saw a man, but I couldn't see its face because it was too far away." Now, more than 45 years later, those 10-year-olds who reported the strange sights during lunchtime at Broadhaven Primary School still insist this was no childish hoax. David Davies, 57, said he was initially skeptical when his school friends rushed back into class from the playground, claiming to have seen a spaceship. I totally regarded the story as being nonsense, as to me, flying saucers didn't exist. They were in bad 1950s sci-fi movies or in tabloid newspapers. He's not wrong.
I like those movies.
Let's see. It was silver, cigar-shaped, and about 45 feet long, and there was just this thought that came into my mind that I had to run away. Mothers can tell when you're lying, and mine was absolutely convinced I was saying the truth. Pupils were asked to draw and write an account of what they saw on their return to school by a school headmaster who separated the children to ensure there was no copying. It's not like today. There was no social media or mobile phones, so there was no opportunity to have collaborated.
Yeah.
The headmaster said later, the BBC Children's Current Affairs showed the headmaster told the BBC Children's Current Affairs show John Craven's Newsround that all the descriptions were similar. This case shares striking similarities between the Ariel School UFO incident in Zimbabwe in 1994 and the Westall UFO incident in Melbourne, Australia in 1966. Yeah, I was going to say this sounds just like Ariel.
Interesting. They're all part of the Commonwealth, the English Commonwealth.
Yeah, let's give this video a watch.
Okay.
Now, what do you make of this next story? An investigation has begun into a claim that something strange came out of the skies and landed in the Welsh village of Broadhaven near Haverfordwest. Whatever it was spotted 3 times by children from the local school. And now their reports are being investigated by the British Unidentified Flying Objects Research Association. Now, the children say the object had a large dome. It was cigar-shaped, was silver in colour. Well, to find out more, I've just been on the phone to their headmaster, Mr. Llewellyn.
I know that 16 children saw it.
And did they all see the same thing, do you think?
There's a common core of similarity between all their descriptions. I got them to draw and to write what they saw.
And do you believe it?
I believe that they saw something which is not common in the environment in which they saw it. But whether they've interpreted correctly, I wouldn't know.
Well, I saw the spaceship. I didn't see the man. The spaceship, it looked a cigar shape with a dome on it. It had yellowy, orange to red light on the top of it.
How clearly did you see it?
Well, I couldn't see its face because it was too far away.
Oh, you say you saw a man as well, did you?
Yes.
And what about him?
Well, he was too far away to be seen as well.
My friend Philip here was trying to find a way over the stream, and I was looking at the bushes up the top of the trees. And then suddenly this silver cigar-shaped object seemed to pop up from behind the bushes and trying to take off. Then it disappeared again.
Are you sure it wasn't perhaps just a helicopter or an aircraft from the airfield near here?
A helicopter could land there, but that's private property over there. And if they landed there, they could be prosecuted. And with an aircraft, the only thing they could get in there was a Harrier.
Were you frightened at the time?
Yes.
Why?
I thought there would be a whole army inside there or something.
I thought there'd be a whole army inside there. That's hilarious. I like his reasoning about the helicopter because it's private property.
I was just about to bring that up. This is totally brainwashed by your government talk.
That's so funny. It would be prosecuted.
And if they landed the UFO over there,
yeah, it'd be prosecuted.
They didn't pay the teletax.
But it's funny, yeah. I mean, England gets, the UK gets a lot of UFO sightings. Well, maybe they might be comfortable in reporting them as well.
Yeah,
but they like messing with their students.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. You know, I mean, it might be. I'm probably reading into this too much, but if you're trying to, as an alien species, you're trying to reach out to and affect a large amount of people, you go to the kids, right? So they grow up believing in UFOs.
Yeah, and because they're the future leaders as well.
Right.
Might have opened up their minds early. So yeah, 1994 Ariel, Zimbabwe, 1977 Broadhaven, Crestview, Miami Gardens, Florida, 66.
We should cover that at some point.
Yes,
That's
yes. I was just gonna say.
I think we touched on it because did we do a deep dive on Ariel or did we just cover it kind of on an episode?
I think we've covered it.
Okay, yeah, because I remember we watched like videos,
but not a deep dive.
Okay. Anyway, I think we talked a little bit about Crestview, but that's another really fun sighting.
Oh, we have.
I think we have. Not a deep dive, of course, but I think we talked about it on an episode. But yeah, let's move on. We're approaching 2 hours here.
All right, so we have Michael Schellenberger is saying that America's trust in media is at an all-time low.
Shocker! How in the world did that happen?
Look where it used to be in the 70s.
Yeah, it's because if you go and watch those new news programs from the 70s, it wasn't about propaganda, or maybe it was, and it was just better hidden. Now it's so obvious. So obvious,
and just completely one-sided, and just just more power to the government, and just war in the Middle East and foreign wars, not just Middle East, foreign wars. So, yeah, not a surprise. And then I don't know if you saw this.
I did. Japanese send this to me. Very strange.
Yeah, new Japanese guide stones just dropped, the same latitude as the ones in Georgia that blew up.
I still can't believe how little I mean, the ones in Georgia got blown up and then demolished, and like it just completely was removed from. No one even talks about it anymore.
So weird. They asked if it's the same rules or whatever. Does it have the same strange principles
verbatim.
that seem? Yeah, verbatim.
Wow. Yeah, actually, AJ over the Y-Files did a really good episode about the Georgia Guidestones.
He did.
I recommend everyone go and watch it.
My mom is going through a rabbit hole of Wi-Fi. I told her she would.
The Y-Files binge. Yeah, no. It's great. He does such a good job.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Poor guy, though. He looks so tired.
I know. And he keeps saying, I need time off, and he keeps taking it, I guess, but then he overworks himself again.
Yeah. So what's this? What do you got here?
So this happened. This is a major leak. U.S. classified documents that surfaced online, reportedly revealing Israel's preparations for a potential strike on Iran. The documents marked top secret and no foreign, indicating they cannot be shared with foreign allies, were first shared on a pro-Iran Telegram channel. One document dated October 14th to the 16th was produced by the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and details Israel's military preparations, including advanced munition transfers and drone activity.
Wow.
U.S. officials are alarmed viewing this as a serious security breach, potentially aimed at disrupting Israeli operations. But anyway, it stopped what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. government has been so horny to get their boots in Iran for years now, and they keep. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, so of course now Israel's going to go do it themselves.
Yeah, and we know it's going to pull us into a war. And I think that's why, we told them don't do it.
Right.
Because it's going to, I mean, the Iranians said they're going to send in 10 times what they sent it before. It's just, man, why can't they just, be peaceful? I mean, like, why are they doing this to their countries?
Well, there's a I don't know. We should move on. I don't want to get the podcast canceled. I know I joke about that all the time, but the second we start talking about Israel and politics, we're going to get in trouble, just like we're about to right now.
Well, this is funny though. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
but this guy is brave, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I guess he's in some conference, and there's a section for Israeli weapons manufacturers. So he goes to the kiosk there, and records this interaction, which is the interaction is funny. The subject matter obviously is not, but that's why he did it.
Sir, we're looking for the baby killing technology. Do you know where he has the baby killer? Do you have the latest baby killing technology, sir? We're trying to shred babies. You guys have the baby shredding tech? Baby shredding tech. You have the baby shredding tech, man? Excuse me, guys. We're looking for the baby killing technology. Do you have it? Sir, baby killing tech. We want to shred babies to bits. Can you help us? Guys, we're looking for the baby killing technology. We heard this is the baby killing section? You have the baby shredding? They shred babies up to pieces? Sir, do you shred babies? Sir, don't touch my phone, sir. I don't care what you want, sir. I didn't ask what you want, sir.
God. I mean, talk about going into the lion's den.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you end up. For some reason, you end up with 16 terabytes of child porn on your computer, and you get arrested and sent to Guantanamo Bay by doing stuff like this.
Yeah. Anyway, they deserved it. They didn't seem too bothered by it. Just as few of them did.
you know,
what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Ron Paul. Well, not Ron Paul, but he on his show reported that U.S. military now authorized to kill Americans on U.S. soil.
They've always been authorized. That's a bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Or they made it legal. They made it legal. It's in the law.
I guarantee you, it's always been legal, even if it has.
But they can't shoot drones, though.
Right.
But it could be something's up. So it's a DoD directive that was reissued in 2024. And now includes provisions authorizing lethal force in certain circumstances, and it supplants the 2016 version, which did not mention that.
Super.
I know, right? It might be because of what's going to happen with the election.
Yeah.
This is a funny one.
This is a lip reading, right?
A bad lip reading, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna play it.
So is Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded. And now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls. So yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe,
on, man.
You're
Just
not going
give me
back
another
yet.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay. Let's just, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
So
women looking fine up in here.
Their body language is pretty interesting, though. I mean, I don't know anything about studying human body language, but
yeah,
Obama really does not seem like he wants to be talking to Joe there, regardless of what's being lip read in a funny way.
Yeah, his hands are folded, so he's uncomfortable.
He looks like he's trying to end the conversation as quickly as he can.
Yeah,
Joe looks like Joe, kind of not quite sure where he is.
It's like, come on, man.
He developed this like open mouth kind of stare, which probably has to go along with his mental decline. But man, he really needs a PR person to give him the right pills or something, because he always looks like he's completely clueless when he stands like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
he does.
Obama just looks so fed up and
Look at him.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's happy to be there. I mean, this looks like I actually don't know what this is from. It looks like it's because of the thing in the bottom left corner, Ethel Kennedy. It looks like they might be at a funeral.
Oh, yeah, it is a
So
funeral.
maybe that's
Yeah.
why everyone looks so downtrodden. But just based on this conversation, the arms crossed, looking down, not
Right.
looking at Joe, makes it seem like he's. Because I've had this conversation
He's
before
not
plenty of
happy.
times where someone's talking to me and I'm going, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's only a few weeks away.
Oh, God.
I would say vote harder, but I'm not going to say that.
Well,
Although-
as long as people understand that no matter who you vote for, Israel's going to win.
yeah, that's for sure.
That's
when it comes to foreign policy, whoever we choose, they're going to win. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I mean, what's the joke? It's like you get Kamala and Trump on stage debating. They start an argument about how much they'll who will love Israel more.
Yeah, the SNL skit.
Yeah, oh, no, I'll love Israel more. No, I will love Israel more.
That's right. We showed Candace Owens did something like that too. No, me. I'm going to give Israel more money and more arms. No, I am.
Yeah,
it's getting so stupid.
So is that it?
Yeah, that's it. We made it just under 2 hours.
Well, all right. Look at us. We're getting episodes done in under 2 hours. We've got a new theme song that's only halfway done.
Oh
things
yeah,
are
we
looking
can
up.
play that. Things are looking up. Just to go along with it. We can play
Yeah.
it one more time before signing off.
Let's do it.
Anomalies podcast where the
Yeah.
truth is told but never seems to last, for the truth changes day by day, so you
It's a
have
masterpiece.
to find it. That's the only way. It's the UAP podcast with Adam and Topher, so don't let it pause and don't let it buffer. We're bringing you stories about conspiracies. We can't break the locks, but we can give you the keys. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, is that a black van? Oh God, I think they found us. Is that a man? He's dressed in all black and claims that he is human, but now we've disappeared and might be burning. Tune in anyway and we'll let you know about the anomalies we've uncovered and so and so. It's the
So good.
I
so
can
good.
now add that to my list of accomplishments. I'm a music producer, scientist, podcaster,
That's-
author,
that's great.
voice actor,
There you go.
and music producer.
I love
I'm
it.
a
I mean-
multi-hyphenate.
Yes, you definitely are, and I can imagine even the music video for it, especially the whole oh my God, there's a black man.
Oh wait, also I made a movie in high school about Edgar Allan Poe and acted in it. So I'm also a director and actor.
Wow, look at that. Look
I
at that.
obviously can't tell you. It is on YouTube, but I can't tell anyone about it.
That's amazing. How young? How old were you?
I was 18.
18.
It was for my
Very
AP
cool.
Lit class. My final assignment was we had to
Oh, I love those.
make a biography or an auto. We had to research like a famous historical author and make. It was either like you had to do some big project about them, and so me and my partner at the time, in my class, my class project partner, we decided to make a movie because we loved movies. We didn't make it a 40-minute film, and
What?
our AP, I'm not kidding, our AP Lit teacher
40
showed it to
minutes.
every other period that she had. I mean, she loved it. She absolutely loved it. We got an A.
You guys did the editing and everything?
Yeah. We got an A+
That's
on that
impressive.
assignment.
Of course you did. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. So we want to thank you all so much for tuning into episode 94. We're so close to 100
We're
of the
almost there.
Uncovering Anomalies podcast. We're begging you, tell a friend about the show,
Yeah, come
repost
on.
our podcast, send it to your friends, send it to your family, send it to your social media. And for those of you who are listening, we've got some really cool, dedicated friends who are fans who are giving us a lot of feedback, and that's really cool. I know you wanted to give a big shout out in particular to one of our listeners who always gives us comments on YouTube.
Yeah, and he's helped us with which show.
He's given us several ideas on stuff to cover.
Yeah, even the newest one was doing crop circles. It's Kaiser. I guess that's 1,000,000 Kaiser. Oh, Kaiser.
Kaiser 1,000,000. I think it's one. I
Kaiser 1
didn't
million.
count all the zeros, but thank you so much, man. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely.
And we hope you continue to enjoy the show as we grow.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and make sure to follow us on X and Twitter. We're active there. We're at UAP the podcast. I'm at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is at Topher it all. So connect with us there. Shoot us some tweets, or no, not tweets anymore. Anyway, and let us know. Yeah, X's. Why that doesn't sound good. What shows we should cover, or if you have any tips for us as well. Make sure to tag us. And also, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on BitChute and Odyssey, all those platforms. Make sure to follow us there. Share it with your friends and family. We have a support link at the end of every single podcast or episode. So click on that and show us some love.
Yeah, I want that. When like you get to 1 million subscribers on YouTube and they give you like the silver YouTube thing.
Yeah.
I want one of those so we can like do a quick video where we like dump in a landfill or something, because like who gives a shit?
That'd be hilarious. Break it up first. And then
yeah, we could chop it up into 1 million little pieces.
Right.
That is I Have a Need to Know, Adam.
Yes.
And I am today's special Topher. You can get fries and a small drink with it, only for $6.99. Also
yummy.
A quick Topher's Media Corner.
Yeah.
I rewatched. Have you seen Annihilation with
No.
with Natalie Portman?
No.
Annihilation, you haven't?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that's your first task for this week, is to go watch that movie.
Sweet.
I think it's a very cool take on alien interaction with humans.
Really? All right. I'm going to check it out. I'll watch it tonight, probably.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I don't know what your level, like, I don't know how scared you get from movies. I have nothing scares me when it comes to film anymore.
I guess it depends what type of mood and what's going on in my life. That's what but I'm fine now. So
I think this is a very low level horror movie. Like I even there's like the concept of it is scary, but like there's nothing, like there's no jump scares or anything like freaky. Like, well, there's one scene that's kind of freaky, but I don't think it's that scary, and I don't think it was ever marketed as like a horror movie. So go into it like that. Like it's not.
Is it like a psychological thriller?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's great. I watched it this weekend for like the 10th or 11th time, and I'm still picking up things where I go like, oh, okay, now I get that part. I get
kidding
that.
me. Nice.
Yeah, and I had a new appreciation for it when I watched it last night. So go ahead and watch Annihilation.
Will do. Okay, Annihilation. And I watched King of UFOs, by the way, or King UFOs. It was good. Wasn't bad at all. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Good.
Yeah, but not too long either. I think it's like just over an hour or something. So, and it was really cheap on Amazon, like $1.99.
Nice. Well, like we always say, thank you all so much for listening. And I guess that's it. I guess we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you all next week. Late.